Hello and welcome. My name is Leah Hireman. I am one of the onboarding and training specialists here at Illinois Mutual. And today we are going to do a walkthrough of the Agent Portal. The Agent Portal houses everything you need in order to do business with us. You're going to be able to run illustrations, take e-apps, access product training, marketing materials, and more. So to get started, you're first going to log into the Agent Portal. You should be able to see the main dashboard here. So hopefully when you log in, this should look familiar to you. When you first come out into the Agent Portal, you are going to find this announcement section here at the top of the screen. Anything that we feel that you might want to know about, you'll be able to find here out in the announcements section. Once you've viewed some of those announcements, you can click the little trash can here to get rid of those if you don't want to see them out here anymore. And then over to the right, you're going to have your quick links. So e-apps are going to take you to our e-app and quoting software. The resource library is going to take you to where you can download or order marketing materials. And I'll show you where to do that here in just a moment. The Get a Quote web tool is essentially going to generate a personalized HTML code for you. So you can use that to embed on your website. That way, if someone visits your website and they want to click that link, they can run a quote on themselves on our 5G quote site. And it essentially gives them the option to send you their name and contact information along with their quote so you can follow up with them, as well as it gives them your name and contact information if they prefer to reach out to you instead. Our digital tools to help you sell page has some helpful resources for you, such as social media guides. There's some helpful videos walking through the illustration and e-app process and several helpful resources for you there. And then down in the lower right-hand corner, you're going to find our contact information for our sales team. So our LifeDI and Worksite sales team, their extension and email address, you can find out here if you have product questions, need help with quotes or cases you're working on or e-apps. That's how you can get in contact with us. And then toward the middle of the screen here, you're going to see this agent action items section. So this underwriting section specifically is probably going to be one of the most important places for you to know about. So this is going to have any of your pending applications in underwriting. So there will be a number here under underwriting, and that's going to be the number of pending applications that is either awaiting information from you or your client in underwriting. So all you do is click on that number. It will take you to a list of pending application numbers with the insured's name next to it. You'll click on that pending application number. It will give you a list of any completed and outstanding requirements and a high-level overview along with your underwriter's name and direct contact information. So their extension, email address, and their name will be listed there should you need to get in touch with your underwriter for any reason. And then over to the right, you have your upcoming lapses. So these are policies in danger of lapsing in the next 30 days. So I wouldn't worry too much about any policies that are showing up out here every month if you have policies that are being paid in the grace period. For example, if your client has a policy that has an effective date of, let's say, June 1st, and they're paying it on June 15th, and they're paying it on the 15th of every month thereafter, they're essentially paying that policy in the 15th day of the grace period each month. So I wouldn't worry too much if they show up out here every month. What you do want to pay close attention to is under the sales touch points, under both disability and life, where it says lapsed policies. I recommend every agent check these out every week just to make sure that none of those policies are falling under this lapsed policies category. Those are policies that have passed the 30-day grace period. They are now unpaid and they are now lapsed. The faster you can catch them, the more likely you are to get them reinstated. So checking them out every week is just a great tip, not only to make sure that your clients are maintaining their coverage, but that you as an agent are maintaining your persistency, because all of our bonuses and incentives do come with a minimum persistency requirement. And then over to the right, you have your anniversaries. So these are policy anniversaries. So just making sure you're having those annual reviews with your client, touching base, making sure that they have adequate coverage. Maybe they had a recent event such as had a baby, bought a house, got married, things like that. Just making sure that they have complete coverage. And then birthdays. We know what a very relationship-oriented industry this is, so just being able to have those nice touch points like picking up the phone, sending a card or a text, wishing your client a happy birthday, just small touch points like that go a long way. And then you'll also be able to track your quarter and year-to-date sales, as well as your received, pending, issued, and paid, hopefully not, but it happens, declined business. And then over to the left, you have some additional menu options here. So under your home menu, you have commissions. So if your commissions are paid directly, you'll be able to access those commission statements each week. If you have any downline agents, they're going to show up under your downline as well as under My Agents. Illustrations and applications are where you're going to be able to, as it says, run your illustrations and applications. So be sure to check out our other on-demand webinars on how to run those illustrations and take e-applications. And then product applications, where it says PDFs in parentheses. This is essentially where you can pull a paper application. So it's going to take you to a map of the United States. You click on the state that you want to pull that application from, and you can choose your application here. It's a fillable PDF, but you can print it out for a wet signature. This is going to be like your paper application. And then back to our Agent Portal dashboard under My Production, that's where you're going to be able to track your in-force business. And then if you click on the DI tab here, you have some additional menu options. So the resource library, as I mentioned before, is where you can download and order those marketing materials. So if you click on that, there's tons of options out here. There is a keyword section, but I find that sometimes it can be a little picky on what keywords it will accept. So I typically use the drop-down menu here. So you can search specifically by state. Usually that doesn't matter quite as much unless you're looking for like an application or a specific state form. You can choose English or Spanish under languages. Product lines is where you're gonna kind of narrow it down to the marketing piece you're looking for. So let's say that we are looking for a disability brochure that you can share with your clients. So I'm gonna click on DI under product line. Under product, I want to choose personal. Let's do the Paycheck Power Series products. And then under resource usage type, I'm going to choose consumer marketing materials because I want something I can share with my clients. And then under resource type, I'm going to choose brochures. And then I'm going to click search. So then it's going to give me some options here that are specific to personal paycheck power that I can share here with my clients. So you can click on this and it's going to download it for you, and eventually it will show up here on your screen so you can take a look at it to be sure that this is the consumer guide that you are looking for. So you can open it up, kind of scroll through and determine if this is the piece you're looking for. Once you've decided, yep, that's exactly what I'm looking for, you go back into that resource library. Let's say you want to order 10 of them. So all you do is type in the number 10 in this little box here and click Add to Print Order. Once you've gone through the resource library and you've added everything that you want to add to your cart, there is this resource cart here up to the left-hand side, and it'll tell you the number of items you have in your order. So you'll just click on where it says number of items on your order. It'll show you kind of in your cart what you have in there and the quantity, and then your name, mailing address, contact information will be listed here. And you just click complete order and we will send those out to you. Below the resource library is where you're going to find your product guide. So this is where you're going to be able to find your DI underwriting guide, medical guide, occupation guide, and agent guide. And then below there is the 1, 2, 3 toolbox and mug plan toolbox, which are just some helpful tools to help you present and share disability income with your clients. And then on-demand webinars, I recommend every agent check these out. This is where you're going to find agent training videos, so such as those illustration and e-app webinars. We have some cross-selling videos out here, best practices forums that we host with some of our top agents who share some of their best practices and their years in being in the industry. And also some videos for clients that you can share with your clients as well. So definitely check out some of those on-demand webinars out there. And then under the Life tab, we have some of the same options, such as that resource library works exactly the same. It's going to take you to the same place. Product guides are where you're going to be able to find your agent guides for life. So your whole life, term and return of premium term, simplified issue whole life, and the simplified issue whole life medical underwriting guide can be found out there. And then this agent guide out here is what I refer to as our underwriting guide. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to a lengthy 61-page document that has everything you could possibly need to know about writing a life app with Illinois Mutual, but there is a table of contents so you can kind of narrow it down to what you're looking for. That life underwriting section starts on page 32, so you can just kind of scroll down there to get to that life underwriting section. But once you get down there, you will be able to find a build chart. So you can take a look and see if your client would be looking at a standard or table rating based on build alone. Beyond that build chart, you will find some medical conditions and how we look at those. So there's a little key here with some of those items might mean. So for example, let's say we have Alzheimer's on here. You can see that's going to be a decline. So you can see how we look at some of those medical conditions. You might see some that say IC, which means individual consideration. So usually in those cases, it's a good idea to get as much information as possible from your client regarding that condition and then reach out to our underwriting team so you can get a good idea on, or their best idea based on the information you provided, of course, always subject to full underwriting, how you might want to rate that client. Same thing with any medical conditions that might be anywhere from a standard to a decline, depending on severity. Again, finding out all of that information regarding that condition, running it by our underwriting team to have a better idea on how to quote your client. And then beyond those medical conditions, you will find the underwriting criteria for rate classes better than standard. So preferred plus, preferred, and standard plus, you'll find out here, and they have their own build charts as well. All right, back to our agent portal. So beyond there, you have your on-demand webinars. Same thing as I showed you for DI, but for the life side. So we have some videos for clients out here. There's also some videos for business uses for life insurance, such as buy-sell agreements, key person, and then you'll find some cross-selling, again, best practices forums, so you can check all those out here. And then we also have a public website where you can quote our life and disability products. So if you are on the go and you just have your phone with you, you just want to be able to run some quick quotes on the road, we have our 5G quote site. It is not an app, it is its own website. So all you do is type in www.5gquote.com. It will take you to that 5G quote site. So all you do is enter in age, gender, their state, tobacco status, and then the product you want to quote. So let's say my client's looking for term for $250,000. You'll click Get a Life Quote, and it's going to show you all of the rate classes and all of the term periods and what those premiums are. Again, it's just a great way to grab some quick premium numbers on the road. You're not going to be able to run any illustrations, add any riders or table ratings, but just being able to grab those quick premiums on the go. You can see here, we have your preferred plus non-tobacco and all of those term periods with those premiums, preferred non-tobacco, standard plus non-tobacco, and standard non-tobacco. You can email this quote to your client and to yourself as well. These will not be saved anywhere, but again, it's just great to be able to grab those when you're on the go. And then back to our main dashboard of the agent portal. Once you're ready to run those illustrations or take e-apps, you're going to find that in your illustrations and applications tab. So everything that you need in order to do business with Illinois Mutual is going to be found out here in the agent portal. As always, if you have any questions or any cases that you're working on, if we can help in any way, please reach out to our sales team. But as always, we appreciate you taking the time to watch this webinar today and choosing Illinois Mutual. Thanks so much, everyone.